Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you had to guess the absolute biggest driver of a student's academic success, what would you say? You might jump to class size, or the latest technology, or maybe even student motivation. Well, I promise you, it's probably not what you think. Today, we're exploring the ultimate catalyst for student achievement, collective teacher efficacy.
All right, let's kick things off with this massive number, 1.57. In the world of educational research, effect sizes are how we measure impact, right? And the hinge point, what we generally consider to be average growth for a standard year of learning, is 0.40. But John Hattie's research places collective teacher efficacy at a staggering 1.57. It completely blows other factors out of the water. So what exactly produces a number that high?
To figure out how we actually hit a number like that, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be defining collective teacher efficacy, comparing efficacy versus teacher agency, looking at how this impacts student achievement, and finally, cultivating efficacy and agency. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Defining collective teacher efficacy. Time to lay down the foundational mindset that makes all of this incredible student growth possible.
First off, we really need to nail down what we mean by collective teacher efficacy, or CTE. As John Hattie points out here, this isn't just some toxic positivity or, empty cheerleading in the staff room. And it's not just about cooperating pleasantly with your coworkers either. It is a very real, measurable socio-cognitive construct. It's that combined bedrock belief that it is us, the adults in the building, that actually causes the learning to happen, regardless of whatever barriers our students might face.
The official definition goes back to psychologist Albert Bandura in the 90s. He found that when teachers work together and develop this strong sense of collective efficacy, student success shoots up. But here is the absolute game changer in this definition. It's the shift from me to we. Teachers' self-efficacy is asking, can I make a difference? But CTE, that flips the paradigm entirely. It asks, can we, as an entire teaching staff, make a difference together?
So we're talking about a group-level judgment of capability here, not just an average of everyone's individual confidence. Think about that for a second. You could have a school packed with rock-star, highly capable teachers, but they might completely lack this shared sense that they can act as one cohesive unit. Or, on the flip side, you could have a teacher who's maybe a little unsure of their own skills on a specific task, but they absolutely believe in the faculty's combined power to pull it off. It's an emergent property of the group itself.
Moving right along to Section 2, Efficacy versus Teacher Agency. Now we're going to explore the critical link between that shared belief we just talked about and the actual actions educators take in the building.
This breaks down two concepts that honestly get tangled up all the time. CTE is that shared belief. Together, we can improve student learning. Teacher agency, on the other hand, is the enacted capacity. It's saying we can make purposeful professional choices and actually act on them within the conditions of this school. Think of it like a sports team. CTE is the team collectively believing they have the raw talent to win it all. Teacher agency is the team actually getting out on the field, calling the right plays, and executing them. Because let's be real, a faculty might strongly believe in its capability, but if they don't have the time, the authority, or the right environment to change instruction, their agency is completely boxed in.
And this relationship, it's a two-way street. It's totally reciprocal. Having a shared belief naturally encourages collective action, which is that agency. And when teachers act together, like say they design a brand new approach to reading comprehension, they generate real hard evidence of impact when students' scores go up. That success acts as a mastery experience, which then fuels an even stronger shared belief for the next hurdle. It's this beautiful continuous cycle where beliefs, behaviors, and environmental conditions all feed into each other to drive continuous improvement.
All right, Section 3, Impacting Student Achievement. Let's see how this whole cycle translates into massive rewards in our student data.
As Rachel Jean Eales and John Hattie's meta-analyses demonstrate, this 1.57 effect size makes collective teacher efficacy the undisputed #1 factor influencing student achievement across all subject areas. To put that into perspective for you, an effect size of 1.57 is nearly 3 times the impact of classroom management, which sits at 0.52, and it's more than double the effect of feedback, which is 0.72. Basically, when a school staff truly believes they can collectively accomplish great things, they almost certainly will.
Now, when we compare these effect sizes side by side, we uncover a seriously powerful dynamic.
Collective teacher efficacy, at 1.57, is more than 3 times as powerful and predictive of student achievement as a student's socioeconomic status, which has an effect size of 0.52. I really want you to let that sink in for a moment. The collective belief of the educators in a building is a much stronger predictor of a child's success than their family's income, their parents' education level, or their home environment.
What this means is that developing this culture literally levels the playing field. In schools where teachers build strong collective efficacy, they actively counteract the advantages or disadvantages students might bring with them from outside the school walls. It overcomes the negative impacts of low socioeconomic status, it shrinks achievement gaps, and ultimately, it closes those opportunity gaps for our most vulnerable learners. It's a real game changer.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, Cultivating Efficacy and Agency. Because we can't just cross our fingers and hope this culture magically appears. It takes intentional leadership.
So how do we actually build this framework? This model from researchers like Jenny Donahue shows us that leaders have to foster supportive structures through a few key areas: goal consensus, empowered teachers, cohesive teacher knowledge, and embedded reflective practices. When leaders actually empower teachers with real decision-making authority, letting them exert influence over instruction, it directly builds both their collective agency and their efficacy. On the flip side, bureaucratic red tape that micromanages teachers, that fundamentally crushes their belief in their ability to impact learning.
To make this happen, administrators have to shift the locus of control back to the educators. We're talking practical steps here, establishing protected time for teachers to collaborate and analyze data, creating real psychological safety where people can admit they're struggling without fear of being judged, and actually celebrating those shared wins. The research is super clear on this. School improvement cannot be done to or for teachers. It can only happen alongside them and by them. When you take control away from teachers, you're just short-circuiting their agency.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I'd love for you to take a hard look at your own school's culture and ask yourself, do you just have individual talent or do you have true collective efficacy? Think about what structural and cultural steps you can take starting tomorrow to empower your educators and turn all that isolated potential into a collective, barrier-breaking force for your students. What's your first move going to be? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive.